On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail.
Make sure your treasure is buried, your parrot fed, and the rum is poured. It's time to set sail on another Patches and Rum podcast, exclusively for members of the History of Pirates channel.
And we're back on another Friday. Set sail. Look at all the pirate flags in the chat, the little emojis that we've got there. Freaking awesome. The ships, the Jolly Rogers.
Oh, yeah.
And our king and our Let me put the Commodore where he belongs. Let me put the, I don't know. If he doesn't go on camera, he goes to the back. That's where it is. There he is. Brought by King's Advisors, who got another year older out on sea this week.
I did, yep.
You're an old man by pirate years.
Yeah.
Very old, very old.
Probably be dead.
You're enlisted, don't you know?
The Commodore's dressed in casual Friday for the ship. But he got his I'm so glad he freaking last guy on Earth to get it. That's for sure.
You would have thought I lived like just past the coast on the ocean on a ship on the other side. It took a long time to get here, but oh baby, look at how fresh these threads are.
It's nice, right?
I'm a modern man now.
Yeah, we've already seen them a lot. But
Lou says, can we get to 400 souls tonight? I do have the record in front of me. It was 471.
Right piece.
That's what I wrote down last 2 weeks ago. So we'll see. It would be nice to get to 100 souls for our Commodore before we set sail, but
I don't feel right.
Eh?
I kind of don't feel right. Like I need to get my stuff on. You know what I mean?
Well, Gun Ho Mac would agree.
What did he say?
X-Wing went all out in costume.
Everybody give a warm welcome to our Sea Hag Queen, who's back again.
I'm here.
All right, thank you.
I said I'm here. What do you want me to say?
That's way to get him riled up. Let's go.
I know.
Wicked!
Woo!
Sorry.
I wasn't saying that's what you look like. I was just like,
Thanks.
kind of.
Yeah.
I also am wearing my special Lego kid-friendly Blackbeard flag shirt. I love this shirt. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
Blackbeard.
You know, things like that. Well, today we're going back over the Lost Pirate Kingdom. And today will be part 2. Look at that. Happy 40th, Kings. Oh, wait, 30th. There you go. Mountain Mud, who is a member, so still swabbing, soaking the fruit and rums. Help.
Oh yeah. What's up, Mountain Mutt?
What does that mean? Soaking
8
the
months
fruit
before the mast.
in rum. C&D Design says, hail to the
Yo.
chat and to the crew. Thank you,
What's up, man?
C&D.
What's up, C&D?
We already got workers
that
that already
stuff he's been
signed up.
putting around. Sheesh, it looks cool.
What's that?
The stuff he's been working on with the
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, we got to pull that up. Hold on.
yeah.
We got to. I
That's
should have had.
incredible.
I should have had that ready to go. Kings went off camera again. He's doing something.
I know. I don't trust him. He's being
I
shady.
don't know what,
with
I
it,
don't know
too.
what he's doing.
Skimming off the top.
Look at our man C&D Designs chat. Look at what he's making. The Vindicta skull.
Dude.
It's
That's
so
so
freaking cool.
It's
That's
so
just
cool.
one side. Look at that thing.
Yeah. And C&D, you're using a filament printer for that, not a resin printer. That's the cleanest filament work I've ever seen in my life.
What's going on in the back here? What are these beads? What's going on there? I see a carrot.
I think it's Easter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Very cool.
Spider Unlimited. This next shot of rum is for you all. Well, cheers to you, good sir. Cheers to you for $2 grog. Hope nobody peed in it. Thank you. And Rachel Hill has donated a soul to the ship to the Commodore. So Experian.
2.
Captain, are you keeping count?
7.
Oh,
And we got 5 from Clyde. Thank you so much.
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
yeah.
There we go. Also, if you didn't know, let's see. Thank you guys for the gifted memberships over here. And in case you didn't know, the reason why the Commodore is wearing that and why there's a pin message about Vindicta merch coming later this year, the very own Daughter's Revenge. If you haven't seen the teaser trailer yet, we will show it to you right now before we get into the Sorry, before we do that, I see Daisy has gifted. Daisy! How many is that, Captain? How many we have souls in this?
17 souls bound.
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
Did we
I
get
played the
Rachel
wrong
Hills
clip.
too?
I played the wrong clip, Captain. Sorry.
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
There's a lot of poop that needs to be poop decked,
Whoa!
I guess. If that's Valiant Renegade, I'm not pulling it up.
It's Valiant, and you're pulling it up. Commodore's orders.
I. Jay whines when I don't. Jay whines when I don't send big supers. I only like him because he's friends with Gina. I knew it.
We knew it.
That's
We were
what
talking
you're
about
my
it.
friend.
Vindicated.
Yep. Friggin' knew it.
I respect it, though. I respect
He's
it.
an honest man.
At least
He's an
you're honest
man.
about it, and not like the other people that aren't. Valiant Renegade
With 100!
Take what you can. Give nothing back.
On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail.
Thank you, Valiant Renegade, for the $100 donation.
Golly.
You know I love you, man. Bruce says, ahoy, you lads and lasses. Ahoy to you. Wait, how many souls do we have now, Captain?
17 souls before the mast.
17.
17 souls.
What can we sail with 17?
A beautiful fast sloop.
A dinghy.
17
Coincidentally,
people?
is what we call Kings behind his back.
You have no idea how paranoid this is going to make me for the next year.
We called you a dinghy.
Oh, it hurts to laugh.
Before we get
Good.
into
Good.
our
Hope it did hurt.
review, check this.
Sir, they're here.
So be it.
Forgive me, Father.
Is this the story on how X-Wing killed the other 4?
Aye.
Hey. Way to lean into it. Yes. Hope you guys are excited. I see so many people in the chat saying they're hyped for this book. It's going to be freaking awesome.
And I've been
in the
hard at
comment, I
work.
saw a picture today that I was like, holy crap.
Oh yeah, we got some work back today that got me really excited. I've been hard at work remastering the original soundtrack right now and tuning it and getting everything ready to go. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe we just put it on the channel. I don't know.
I think so.
How are the swords going?
Great. Shut up.
I say, hey, I can't fault on. I haven't. I'm in the middle of a Julius Caesar video. I haven't finished as well. So is what it is. But if you're new here, this is part 2 of. Sorry, my microphone just suddenly mutes itself. Of the Lost Pirate Kingdom on Netflix. I will play the teaser trailer if you haven't seen it yet. So check it out.
The 12-year war against England leaves Spain broke.
Thousands of privateers lost their livelihood.
This is a time of horrendous suffering.
The Spanish fleet, laden with gold and silver, is wrecked, scattering a fortune.
This is like discovering oil.
I see no act against the Spanish in that.
And so, the golden age of piracy begins.
This is just the latest report sent back from Jamaica. The pirates are getting bolder.
Cut the lines! Cut the lines!
These swashbuckling outlaws bring murder and mayhem to the high seas.
The brutality and the bullying and the predation of many of the captains that are known. You can't speak at length about Charles Vane without the word psychopath.
Identify yourself.
You don't know me.
My name is Blackbeard!
For the first time, pirates actively engaged English shipping.
King George. But they don't care about us out here.
The pirate menace was becoming an existential threat to the Empire.
We have all lost to these heathen pirates.
It appears they are favoring slaving vessels.
You are now subject to the laws of piracy!
White men consorting with savages must stamp this cancer out.
And Bonnie, men take what they want when they want. If it were me, I'd pirate for the rest of my days.
Hoist the Jackson, the new pirate republic!
Yeah.
I loved it. Where did we leave off on episode 3? What was the end of episode 3?
Roy Rogers. Sorry, not Roy Rogers. Woods Rogers.
Yeah. They introduce him, but he's not. They start talking about him more in the beginning of episode 4, which starts with slaves have been set free and it's causing unrest in the Caribbean, the plantations, and then they show Woods Rogers and explain, that he was shot in the face with a musket and swallowed his jawbone, which is insane.
Savage.
But he has a plan to drive the pirates out of the Bahamas and become governor so that he can restore law and order. That's how we start episode 4.
Did you guys like his intro? I freaking love Woods Rogers' intro because he did like the slow motion walk.
Yeah,
they're like, we know one guy. Yeah, then when he turns around, the nasty scar.
Yeah,
like this guy that
it
swallowed,
starts
like Wicked said, swallowed his own jawbone.
He didn't even know either. He's like, he swallowed something and then he goes and gets it checked out, and they're like, yeah, that was your jawbone.
Yeah, how did he do that, by the way? Did he like bring a piece of poop in? He's like, what does that look like to you? He's like, that's your jaw. He's like, whoa, okay.
Cool.
Awful.
Yeah.
When did that happen, by the way? That was early on in his career, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was before all of the golden age of piracy, right? Like way before that, because he was already
a privateer.
Yeah, when he was a privateer.
Yeah. So the introduction of Woods Rogers, and did we also see the end of Sam Bellamy?
That's this episode.
Yeah, that's this episode.
The one that was coming up. I do want to. I don't think I'll get clipped. But I do want to play this because in a lot of history books that I've read on pirates, it is this Sam Bellamy speech that they keep bringing up.
Yep.
And even in this show, they say they're like,
I wrote it down. I was gonna say it.
Yeah, this guy was a witness to one of the greatest pirate speeches,
Never given. Yep.
And so
I don't remember that guy's name that heard it. I don't know if anybody wrote down what his name was, but yeah,
He
they're
doesn't
like,
matter.
So
yeah,
he
they're like,
had
this is one of those famous guys, but he didn't do anything. He just listened to something.
He just heard something real cool.
So we had to set this scene up, everyone. Sam Bellamy wasn't really he killed when he had to kill, but he had a lot more mercy than others.
Yeah.
And they took over this ship, and they were like, Sam was gonna let him go and be like, all right, we cleaned out your ship, you can go back and just leave us alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then the crew voted. The crew's like, man, burn that thing. We don't even like these people.
We're pirates.
Yeah.
So Sam's like, well, I love democracy.
I love democracy.
Yeah, so they're like, the crew voted. And so Sam goes back to the captain and is like, well, we voted, and we're going to burn your ship up. And then the guy had the nerve to be a little cocky about it. Like, bro, you're...
Yeah, not a great time to puff up your chest when you're on Sam Bellamy's ship. Like,
exactly. And Chelsea, 10 more souls. Check it out.
On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail.
Thank you for the 10. Holy
shut
crap,
up,
that's
Chelsea.
awesome.
I love that avatar too.
It's great. What's our total, Captain?
27.
27. Spider Unlimited says, are we ready for Blackbeard's third eye?
The beauty of listening to this while I worked was I missed it.
Yeah, I saw all of it.
It was kind of like, it was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
Seems like somebody just wanted to add it in.
I think there might have been somebody on the show who was like, well, we put boobs in it. And a girl's like, you know what we should do?
Yeah.
Probably, actually.
It's so
descriptive enough hearing about it.
While this captain was yelling at Sam saying, I need my ship, don't burn it up. Now, what happens to the crew if they set their, did they just throw them in dinghies or something? Or
I don't know. Because I mean,
they just like leave them on some island somewhere.
That's what I'm thinking. They wouldn't have had like enough ship to shore boats on the deck to house the entire crew. It wasn't like lifeboats, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they sure as heck weren't going to feed everybody on their ship. So I don't know.
Because I don't think he killed these people because he wrote down this speech. Anyway, let's take a listen.
I'm sorry we have to sink your ship, but this is all on you. No, not you. You lay down and you let the rich walk all over you. They call us villains. But there's really only one difference. The rich rob the poor under cover of law. We plunder the rich by our own courage. Isn't it better to be one of us than to sneak after them for your work?
My conscience would never allow me to break the law of God and man.
Your conscience. Well, here's what my conscience tells me. I'm a free prince, and I have just as much right to wage war on the whole world as someone with 100 sail of ships at sea, or an army of 100,000 in the field. Farewell, Captain.
Farewell.
That's
so awesome. That's so awesome. Bellamy is just like, he's my favorite, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys, like, you're rooting for him. He's not an anti-hero. You're just like, you're rooting for him, you know? And you want him. Everybody else had all the motivations of all these different pirates. And I think that's what it might be. It's so romanticized. Like, he was driven by love, really, in the end. Like, I'm sure if we were able to travel back in time and talk to him, he might have a little bit of a different answer, but he wanted to get back to Boston. He wanted to get back to Mary.
Yeah,
you know?
which the next part in this episode is real sad.
Yeah.
Because it's when she's found in a barn with the dead child. And they think she killed it. She probably didn't. I mean, she didn't have money. She was living in a barn. It was probably freezing cold. So their baby died, and she was publicly flogged and thrown into jail, and then eventually ran out of town.
That is where, like, when you read the
Puritans.
story of Bellamy, you're like, oh, Bellamy, you got to come back and, like,
I know, it's so sad because he wasn't like the other pirates just running around and not caring about what he left back at home. He cared, and that's why he was doing it.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more sad that the way her story ended as well.
When she's getting flogged, she says, "A curse on you, Sam Bellamy.
Yeah.
You never came back." I'm like, oh no.
And of course, he never comes back.
Give me 1 second.
no, he doesn't. It's true. Yeah. But I mean, Sam Bellamy at this point is sitting. He's sitting as the king right now, kind of, right? Like the king of pirates for the most part.
I mean, he's definitely being the most successful. I think, I think you'd be hard pressed to say that Hornigold is not still the king at the time. Which, I mean, even when I know I'm
What
getting
made Bellamy so successful? Why was he so good at his craft? Like, what do you think? Did he just have the better tactics? Did he just have the?
I think there was
skill set.
More
Was it just
he wanted?
Oh,
well, so at the beginning, he wasn't bound by flag like Hornigold was, and in the and then he had an actual reason beyond just greed. I think
he wasn't bloodthirsty either. He was the opposite. He was just trying to get money. He wasn't just like, oh, I'm just gonna kill to kill, and he didn't go psycho. So that, I think, made his head a bit clearer as well.
I just like being.
Well, and he actually liked Benjamin as well. So I think that was one of the things as well, is he had an actual respect for his leader, whereas opposed to Vane was just psychotic and Jennings was full of greed. And Hornigold's issue was that until he actually saw the issues that his loyalty to the crown was having both on his ship and on the morale of the pirate kingdom, he wasn't willing to go that extra step that was necessary to actually be the pirate that I think if he had started the way that he ended, I think we're sitting here going, who's Henry Avery? Who's Stead Bonner?
Right.
Who's any of these people? Hornigold. We're not making movies about Jack Sparrow. We're making movies about Benjamin Hornigold. Like, I think that's what it would be.
And on that note,
we bullied
5 more souls, good sir.
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
Just didn't feel right.
It did not.
Thank you, Aaron Money. Spider Unlimited for $10 says, I hate to bounce, but I have to leave to tend to my niece and nephews. Family first, brother. Enjoy and drink up, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you, good sir. Thank you for your support and your love.
Put him on the
Everybody
boat.
else. Yeah, cheers to you. Wicked's looking for something to hold.
I'm looking for my cup. I forgot where I put it.
She's like, oh, we're doing it? We're cheering?
Oh, no.
Commodore, you weren't here for this question, but it was like, what made Sam Bellamy so successful? Like he just did things differently. He did like the naked crazy man.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it seems like for the Wida, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it was the ship before the Wida,
the Sultana,
where he actually put naked slaves screaming and yelling, and they were just like, oh my God.
That would have been when he attacked the Wida.
Yeah, so it was the Wida, and they were like, there's like slaves, crazy slaves coming our way. We got to surrender.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
I think,
Now,
At least
the reason
this is according to the Netflix documentary, guys. What
Right.
we're
So
talking about.
I have a question about that, because Jay, you read the
I
book.
believe I was asked a question to be answered there, Copper.
Well,
I
proceed,
think the reason is twofold.
Don't be a dingy.
Yeah, that's why we have a nickname for it.
That's how he earned it. I think the reason's twofold. One, he was very intelligent about the targets he pursued and how he pursued them. But beyond that, you got to remember at the time, Hornigold is out there and he's acting under the law of we don't attack the crown. And Bellamy says, I don't care. If it's in front of me, I'm going to hit it. And so that's another thing. Yeah, you know, the sea was a target-rich opportunity, and he wasn't playing by any rules. He was a pirate. He was going to get whatever he wanted.
Hornigold does decide in this episode, though, not to lay off English merchant ships anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder if one of the reasons that Bellamy and a bunch of the others decided that, hey, we want to go after the British are because Hornigold and others that were following because Hornigold wasn't the only one that wouldn't attack the Brits because it was
well, Jennings didn't want to either.
It was the wrong idea because the second you start attacking the Brits, the most powerful navy in the world goes, oh, so we have a little mosquito problem down here. So
wasn't Hornigold wanting to retire back in England?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He wanted to go back like as some kind of like, hey, I got a lot of money now. I'm a big shot in England.
Well, I wonder if
it was Jennings that wanted to go back. Jennings wanted to go back to Jamaica because he owned plantations, but Hornigold wanted to reform Nassau into basically a respectable place at that point. I don't know that he really had anything to retire to back in England.
When him and Anne Bunny were having a little fun,
yeah,
and it's like, what do you want? He goes, I just want to go back to England with my fortune.
At the beginning, I think the idea was I want to retire to England.
And then he also made these little PowerPoints, like every now and then he goes, look, it's cool here, but they're coming for us.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, eventually they're coming for us. So
the fuse is burning.
Is it today or is it? Yeah, exactly. It's like they are British are coming back for us. So
that was the best line in freaking Pirates of the Caribbean history is when was it Norrington? It wasn't Norrington. What was the other guy's name? The mega villain. Anyways,
Cutler Beckett.
Cutler Beckett. He says the world is shrinking, or the map is shrinking. The world is shrinking. The edges of the map being filled in. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's just it's such a good analogy for what was going on with pirates.
Mm-hmm. But I wonder, and I've wondered this since we were talking, since 4 weeks ago when we were doing Benjamin Hornigold. But I almost wonder if the reason that the rest of the pirates decided, hey, let's go after the Brits, was because there weren't enough Dutch and Spanish ships around anymore.
Or maybe they just
and the other guys were getting them.
We're not going there anymore because it's bad. Do you have an answer to this question, Captain?
The trading ran by the East India Company, especially the slave trade, which was already illegal in England at the time. That was prior.
No, so Britain does not outlaw slavery, and this annoys me a lot. Britain does not outlaw slavery or the slave trade until after the American Revolution. They outlaw it. So the slave trade is outlawed in Britain by William Wilberforce in about 1807, I believe, and following the prime ministership of William Pitt the Younger, and then or Elder actually, I think, and then it was and there were two instances of the outlaw. The first was in the late 1700s, I believe. It was basically the rules of maritime slavery changed, where you could no longer sail under certain flags to prevent your slave ships from being boarded. Then in the early 1800s, Britain outlawed the slave trade completely.
And one of the kickoff reasons for the entirety of the freaking golden age of piracy was the fact that London, Henry Avery in particular, disrupted the slave trade at the time that was completely dominated by the Spanish, and he started destroying their ships, etc., etc. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Canlis for 5 says, "Wicked looking lovely as always. The boys looking as always."
What's that supposed to mean?
Thank you.
Yeah, like Leon said, lean back. UK outlawed slavery in 1834.
So
not to mention the Whydah. The Whydah was specifically built as a slaving ship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, they thought they were going to make a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
We can carry all these people.
Yep.
Whydah gets captured.
First run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
0-1.
The insurance company's having problems back in England. We get the introduction of Woodes Rogers does the slow man walk as to I'm about to wreck these Pirates of the
Mhm.
Caribbean. We get into this episode, and it kind of starts off with Bellamy like, I gotta go home. Let's go home. Let's
And
go
they hit
home,
a
everybody.
storm.
Goes into the storm, dies.
April 26th,
Dies.
1717.
So then the question becomes, because of the outcome of the survivors, who made it back to England to tell Mr. Captain Johnson about this speech that was given on the pirate ship?
Well, out of the 160 people on his fleet, only 2 survived.
Well, there were another 8 on a different
There was another
ship.
ship that survived too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, on his
There were
ship.
2 on the Wida.
Yeah.
And then on whatever the other ship, there were 8.
I wonder if there's any named folks that survived the crash of the Wida.
I wonder.
Hmm.
And while this is happening, Mary Hallett lost her mind and becomes known as the Witch of Eastham.
Oh, right, yeah. The woman that he was coming back to marry goes cuckoo.
Can you blame her?
No, I mean absolutely not.
I like the next scene. I know, right? She loses her man, her child gets kicked out of town. Yeah. So I like the scene when they find out they're all at the bar, just upset. They lost their friends, and then Blackbeard. I like how angry he gets when he says, "If you do so much as scratch any of them, I'm gonna raise Boston to the what does he say? Raise Boston to the
Boston
ground.
to the ground.
Yeah.
And he's all pissed off at Jennings. It's like Jennings didn't do it.
Yeah. Which would have been cool. Can you imagine if Blackbeard sails a pirate flotilla up to Boston and rescues
Bombs
those
the crap out of it.
I mean, that would make a fun TV show. But
Yeah.
rescues the pirates that were being held captive.
That
Not a
would've been
not a
great.
great tactical move.
But unfortunately, he wasn't able to save them, and it became one of, if not the largest hanging in Boston history.
Yep, the largest hanging of pirates. in Boston. Yep.
The largest hanging was probably during the.
And that was
trials.
entertainment, bro.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
popcorn, 2 shillings, popcorn, 2 shillings. Watch the pirates get hung.
The worst of the worst.
Yeah.
And don't be like these
over under
people.
how long they keep reeling
Yeah,
around.
crazy.
And this,
Then yes, Wicked was right. They went back to Mary, Sam Bellamy's love, who went crazy, who was later deemed a witch of the town. We don't really know how she died or what happened. I think didn't they just say she was just labeled? She was called the witch of something. I can't remember what her name was.
she probably just wandered off and died. I mean,
It's like East
Easton?
something Easton, the Witch of Easton.
The Witch of Easton, because she killed babies and dated a pirate, I guess. So that's why she was such a bad person.
I'm going to Boston at the end of the month. I'm going to see if I can go to a beach and hear her screaming at night, maybe. Yeah.
So that started off like sad. Like you're kind of
Yeah.
like Bellamy was the only one I was kind of rooting for to. Then the word began to spread that Sam Bellamy was dead, and that had a massive impact on the Flying Gang and Pirates of the Caribbean, and they were just like, "Wow, that's
The band started
rough.
to kind of break up. That was like
Yeah.
the genesis of the band kind of starting to break up there.
Which is funny because the first 3 episodes of this, and even sort of the whole show in general, a journal history of pirates, and most things written about the Golden Age, at least that I've found so far, all kind of tie everything to Benjamin Hornigold. But it does kind of seem like Sam was basically the heart of Nassau.
Well, they celebrated his victories, and they just like, dude, Sam's crushing it out there, man.
Yeah.
Well, they
like if he had a YouTube channel, he'd be at 1 million subs. And they're like, dude's freaking killing it while we're out here with like trying our best.
And don't forget, they had a Democratic vote that basically had Hornigold step out, and it was Bellamy that took over, and it was just Thatch and Thatch and somebody else that stuck with Hornigold.
But that was just of that ship. That wasn't of Nassau.
Yeah, but I mean
Benjamin was
that's the
still
vote
very
that
much
kind
the
of
leader in Nassau.
Yeah. But if your duly elected leader of your township is replaced on a boat, You kind of get the vibe that yeah, exactly. We know who's really running the show.
I want to take a quick pause and recognize my man Mo, Great Day Karen, John, who's in the chat. Heron the Blue says the Wicked Witch of the Easton. Is that her name? Yeah. Sean, no beaches in Boston.
Well,
Massachusetts,
somewhere in that area,
somewhere by the water, right?
Massachusetts, yeah.
Rachel's here. Karen, I think I said your name. Hokies is here. Thanks for being here, all of you guys. Shane G, Lean Back, Wizard Man. I Canless, Mr. T, Chelsea. I think I said T. Davidson. Roberts is sorry I'm late. No problem. Doug 209. Thank you. Daisy. Thank you so much for being here, Lady Marine, and so many others. Thank you, Clyde, my man Clyde. Thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us. 116 people here on a Friday. I got the room up late. That's my bad. And there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. So thank you guys so much for being here, hanging out. Massive chew sets. Yeah, that's how I say it. Thanks, Lark.
I'll be all over there.
Thanks, Lark. So after the sad tale of the #1 pirate being kind of taken down.
Oh, Sam.
They pick up pace a little bit at the end of the episode after that because Woodes Rogers talks about the pardon of the pirates.
Yeah, they just one of the craziest plans in the history of politics.
Yeah, and then also Blackbeard creates the Blackbeard persona, which is like he was like the first rock star, like the way he did, his it was a rock star persona, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's what they said in the documentary. Just. He went all in.
Let's talk about how crazy that pardon is. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That was like saying anyone who has ever stolen anything the past 10 years in America, if you sign this and promise not to do it again, you'll be forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
No matter how much it is, and on top of it, you get to keep what you stole.
Yeah.
But not even on how much it is and what you stole. How many people you've killed?
Yeah.
How
many people you murdered?
How many boats you've sunk?
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars worth of forgiveness.
Yeah, I would have been pissed too. All of the, it wasn't parliamentary leaders, but the English are sitting there, and Woodes Rogers is giving a spiel, and here's this guy who took a musket ball to the face, and you're expecting to hear, "I'm gonna march down there with 1,000 men and slaughter these pirates," and he goes, "Let's just forgive them."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What are you talking about?"
And then the ones that don't take it, those are the ones we hunt down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
According to the book that this show was based off of, over 700 pirates signed the pardon the first day. So we're not talking like 10 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean,
we're talking like maybe 1,000 plus that have murdered, plundered, done horrible things to women and children, destroyed property. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and the crown is just like, yeah, if we forgive them, maybe they'll stop, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. You know,
it was their attempt to try and pacify them because they were very scared with trading. Nobody wanted to go on the water because pirates.
Well, it's kind of like when you commit one act of piracy and you just keep going and going and going. Because if you go back to your normal life, you're gonna get hung. For the one,
it's a one-way ticket.
If you just keep doing it, maybe you get away.
I'm just saying that is one of the craziest political moves. That's like taking any city. All right, that's like taking Chicago today and saying, "Hey, look, we're gonna crack down on crime. We're gonna make it really bad for you. But if anybody did anything till June 1st." You'll be forgiven. No courts, no nothing, clean record. Just sign this, whatever, and we'll keep moving. And then how do you think the rest of the country would feel about that? You know what I'm saying? It's like
you telling me I could have been doing this the whole time?
Not that, but it's also insane. It's like, what are you gonna do for us law-abiding citizens? What are you gonna do about it? It's basically 4 years of Biden. Okay, that was pretty good. I had to
You know
highlight that.
the craziest part about all of it is though, it does exactly what he wanted it to.
Exactly. It was
exactly.
It was
it
perfect.
fractures him.
He was onto
perfect.
something.
Yeah.
And before that, Shane with 10 pounds. Look at that mug.
What's up,
Thank you
Shane?
so much, good sir. Grand Potato for 5 says one of my favorite books, while not necessarily a pirate book, is The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle. Have any one of you read it? I have not. But if you send it to me in my P.O. box, I will. Anybody else?
No, I haven't read it.
No, never heard of it.
Shane, what time is it for you over there? Is it past your bedtime? Thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Like
I
3
can't
o'clock
listen.
in the morning over
Rum
there.
and
Rum.
Commodore.
Rum.
5 more souls for you.
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
Yeah, that was
Shane
really
G
great.
says, I plan to live forever, so dying doesn't scare me.
There you go.
Love that type of motivation. All right, what were you saying, Wicked? Sorry.
What was I saying?
Yeah, I interrupted you as always.
I don't remember. No, I just said that his plan worked. That was it. Pacified the pirates.
Yeah. I feel like
I'm
it's,
just saying, like, I can't get over that. Like, I don't think people understand how crazy that is. That
the crazier part is they did it twice.
Yeah.
That they what?
They did it twice.
Yeah.
What was the second time?
Another pardon.
17, and then the year later in 18, they did another pardon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because it worked so well the first time, you know. So
Well,
Benjamin, the crazy thing too, freaking Benjamin Hornigold takes the pardon.
Mm-hmm.
And that shattered the flying gang. The like
Charles Vane got real mad.
Yeah. Well, and I personally, I think the first 3 episodes were a lot better than the next 3. But
Yeah, because
one
the
of my
next 3 are
favorite
the
moments,
downfall.
yeah, one of my favorite moments is when it talks about why Charles was so angry, because Benjamin Jennings, even Edward Teach, if he had taken it, we're all going back to pretty good lives.
Right.
He would have been going back to living in squalor and working off of whatever sort of brain he had, which was already like turned off completely. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, 100%. I think the people that wouldn't take the pardon didn't have anything to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
Those who had, and I think he actually brings that up a little later in the episode. He said, hey, if you were out and you were pillaging, fine, and you've got pockets, great, take the pardon, but we haven't been out. We haven't been busy. And then what is he saying?
We've been too
After
busy
all the
drinking and whoring.
yeah, we don't have any money left.
Yeah. So
we get to the next episode 5.
Deal or no deal.
Yeah, Hunters.
Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
Hunters Become the Hunted. Episode
Hornigold.
5, where the pardon's already been out. People are signing it. People are rebelling against it. And Wood Rogers tightens his grip on Nassau, forcing pirates to surrender or flee. Charles Vane continues his defiance. And something crazy happened with Charles Vane. He made one critical error, which is really weird of all pirates. He decided not to attack a French ship, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And of all people, a young lad by the name of Calico Jack said, "How dare you? What kind of pirate are you?"
Mm-hmm.
Now we're talking about freaking Charles Vane, the guy who plucks out people's eyeballs, cuts out people's tongues.
He wasn't very kind.
A horrible, horrible person. This guy was a horrible. There's something wrong with him. And of all people, Calico Jack stands up to him. Calico Jack is probably one of the worst pirates ever, but he was famous for a few things.
And Bonnie being one of them.
Yeah. Most of Calico Jack's, he just went after like fishermen and hope for the best. It's like, there's a fisherman over there. What do you have? $1. Hey, we did something here. Let me get the rest of your beer in the cooler.
I hate to go backwards,
No,
but
go backwards.
But you mentioning Jack reminded me of something. One of the callbacks in the 4th episode when they're talking about the crew that survived and the hurricane. They mentioned that one of the people that died was that like 9-year-old kid
Jonathan
that had jumped with without his mom's permit or governess's permission to join Sam's crew. And they one of the historical guys mentions that the archaeologist discovered that he was still wearing the stockings that his mom had dressed him in.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. So sad.
Yeah, he never changed his clothes.
That scene was, I mean, obviously, this is part of the drama part where they added, right? We don't know if this happened, but when he's like, I don't want to drown. And Sam Bellamy's like, hold on, lad, or whatever, just hold on. And then, boom, flipped. I was like,
yeah, that was sad.
It's like, you know what's going to happen. You're sitting there going, come on, win.
Can we change history just this once?
And they were just like, made you know, this was the same kid a few episodes later was like, I want to be a pirate, Mom, let me be here. And then I don't want to drown, save me, Bellamy. Drowns.
Drowns, dead, he's done.
Well, Charles Vane, so he made a mistake. He didn't attack a ship because he thought, you know, maybe we couldn't take them. Of all people, Calico Jack, who probably, I don't know if he wanted to be captain, like made, you know, probably had a good reading of the crew. That's probably where his gift.
I'll do it. Sure. Why not? Like, I don't think he actually campaigned for it, you know?
There are people in this world that could read the room really well, you know, and like, kind of like, yeah, that didn't go over too well. And I don't want to be in their bad graces. So let me, you know, let me just say what you did was wrong. There was a mutiny. Charles Vane was then booted off the ship, was now taken over by Calico Jack. Jay, where did you get your t-shirt? The one that I'm wearing now? This was a 9-line apparel exclusive. Unfortunately, they do not sell them any longer, but they might come back. And Llama Pajama, what is this grand total, sir?
42 souls.
42 souls!
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
Oh, we need 60 more souls. Who's going to be the person that finds us 60 more? Oh, no. Old Man Hatfield. Another FUD gives us.
I think we got a man overboard.
That's not Old Man Hatfield. That's a dog.
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
Gives us a grand total, Captain?
47.
47 souls.
So we need 53 more souls so we can get a... Oh, we lost
dog. Yeah, someone fell overboard.
Somehow we lost the Sea Hag Queen. I don't know what happened.
Browser issues. Sorry.
Yeah. Old Man Hatfield, he said, that looks like a dog. I hit the button quick because I started to laugh. Wait, did Llama give 10? Did I get both of them?
You did.
Okay.
Okay.
Making sure. You know, we'll see.
Very important.
R.I.P. Wicked. Yeah.
This is such a monumental moment for me. I feel like this affected like so much. Seeing Bellamy go down, the circumstances under which he goes down, with as much treasure he has, and the story that he's on, I feel like this just left an indelible mark on my heart. As like, damn, I really wish it didn't go that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It really
he's one of the good
bums me out,
ones,
man.
you know? It
One
would
of
have
the
been
good
nice.
ones.
He was the Robin Hood, right?
Yeah. He was done too. We wouldn't have really got. We probably wouldn't have gotten much more from him unless maybe
Do you think he could have stayed done?
I don't know. He had a lot of money, and he was just
You
going
would
back
think
to
he would
take
go
care of his
back to-
family.
Yeah, if he saw his son. Oh my gosh, we got more souls coming in. Ken!
Souls!
Volunteers himself. What are you
Ken.
doing?
Ooh,
I don't know
bad
where he's
luck.
going with that. Nagranol has gifted 5 more souls to the channel.
Nagranol.
Thank you so much. And Ken says, I'm bringing 5 friends with me. If I'm scrubbing the poop deck, you're scrubbing it too. Let's all sing our...
On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail.
I love that. I wish someone would have given that to me sooner. And Nagranol says,
White powder
Weak
again.
sauce.
Nagranol says, if I'm bringing 5 friends, I'm going down with them. Volunteers
59
himself.
souls.
What's our grand total, Captain?
59 souls.
I gotta learn to keep my
59. You mean
powder
to tell
dry.
me we only need 41 more souls to reach 100? We can finally set sail and do the hoopla dance and everything else that the Commodore wants to do. And
I outlawed the hoopla
That really
dance.
went
Oh,
down
sorry.
fast, didn't it?
I
Started
thought
up here, then just
barrel
See,
number
that's
2.
what I said. That's not old man Hatfield. That's a Portuguese water dog.
Sure. There's a barrel down there, sir, with like a red marking. Please don't drink that because whew, it'll burn later.
Better than a Portuguese rum dog.
I hope King's Advisor, Comics Advisor, I almost said, had a wonderful birthday.
I did. Thank you very much.
How does the hoopla dance go? It's when you have way too much to drink and you don't know what you did, but you woke up and your ankle's swollen, your back hurts a little bit, and you know
There's a mercury needle laying next to you.
Somehow people were saying you were quite entertaining on the dance floor. And Rachel, she's brought another friend, which gives us a total of
60.
And
60
Doug
souls.
B says, I got 20 people
Doug
sing the
B.
song.
On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail.
Grand total, sir.
80.
Freaking wet powder.
We are 20 souls away from our 100. Thank you, Dougie B, for your contribution to the ship.
Shout out, Dougie.
Jake Stanley for 5 says, if none of you have already, you should check out Sail North. Amazing sea shanties. I will.
I have not.
Thank you so much
I
for
have
the
not.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Sail North.
Okay. We'll see if those 20 more souls come in with the last 35 minutes of oh my good God. Big sweet Jesus.
Lord have mercy.
Stormbringer with 20. Woo! You get your own little clip there.
What you can. Give nothing back.
And Lulu Blue says, take them all.
Lulu.
I will find more people next time.
On the airwaves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail. Mysteries unfold.
Can X-Men, you made that, right?
Yes.
Will you send that to me? Because I feel like I just want to wake up listening to that.
I know, right? So good.
Would love to.
I had it
lost
soon.
it.
I just remastered a new version of it too. So
Okay.
DJ Commodore.
DJ. Freaking wet powder.
Okay, same joke
Lulu,
too many
thank
times,
you.
buddy.
You have gone above and beyond, Lulu. Thank you so much. And Doug says, ahoy, sorry I'm late. Stormbringer, good to see you, sir. Always bringing the rain.
I love the animation you did there with the pirate ship with the black sails, because I mean we know now that like at best it was just a black flag. Can you imagine? You're just sailing. You've got a little sloop. You've been you're 20 days from England. Also, you look behind you and the like White Galley or something is behind you, full black sails with crossbones on it. That would be terrifying.
And super inconvenient for the pirates. Really stupid
This
idea.
is for you to read.
Lulu Blue for $1.99.
Captain, not Commodore. Captain.
Oh, I forget my rank.
I'm only here to offer souls. Get to work.
Welcome to the crew. Now get to work.
We also have another member of the tattoo crew. I'm sure he'll post it soon enough.
Oh?
Yeah. Not me, but someone that's always in our chat.
Better wait to get that freaking tattoo when I get
What the heck, ladies? Oh! Everybody raise your glass and sing.
Waves we sail, with stories we prevail. The history of pirates, our anchors never fail. Mysteries unfold, treasure maps of gold, voices of the buccaneer and stories so bold. Every ship and crew will tell their tales true from the silent
It's the last 20 seconds for my walkout song.
That gives us a grand total, Captain, of
200 souls.
200 souls.
Huzzah! What shall you do with 200 souls?
I think you split them up and you make a giant flotilla.
Naganal for 5 says we're going to need a bigger boat.
Or 2!
I say we do 2.
Command the victory of 200.
Baby.
Jake says no better crew in these waters, Commodore, Captain.
It's true.
They're quite good.
I've built this crew brick by brick.
What's the record? 471. That was
Boy,
a crazy stream 2 weeks ago. That
was insane.
Lulu Blue, Lady Marine, Doug B, Stormbringer, all you guys. Holy crap. Thank you so much for your generosity.
You lovely bastard.
Man, it is yeah, I don't know what it is about this channel. I've never seen anything like it anywhere else on any YouTube channel ever.
Part of the crew, part of the ship.
Unbelievable. Yes, you are.
Thank you for that inspirational. Truly, have I never felt more motivated.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have the Commodore use that song and make a fun little video. We'll throw it up on the YouTube channel for all to download.
There you go.
And
yeah, we could have a little music playlist for the history of pirates. Yeah,
why not?
I can do that. I can do
Sky's
that.
the limit here, man. Let's just have some fun. Yeah. Nagranal is so happy to be a pirate. Where are we sticking Nagranal? He's a lanky, tall man.
Yeah,
he's
that can drink a few.
He's gonna have to be on the top deck somewhere. So he's a sharpshooter for me. He's my sharpshooter, my personal sharpshooter.
He's hanging from the ropes.
Sniper stream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We will see Dawn one day.
Although
on
I
the
watched
Rise
him
of
play
Big Ben.
Fortnite last night. Maybe not my personal sharpshooter, but we'll give him a gun. How about that?
Yeah, I think he's just going to be hanging on to the ropes on the sail up there.
Yeah. He's one of
So-
those ones that just does stuff to look busy on the boat, climbing up and down the ropes.
Don't be hating on my boat. No, we're giving him a job. He goes, "Hey, I had mad skills."
Shout out Nagano.
In years, I've never seen how to accept gifts. The internet says hit the join button, but I do not see it anywhere. You might have a brand account, a brand YouTube account that you made a long time ago, and you don't realize you have it. Those are the ones that are not accepted. So, if not, just delete and start over. That's all you have to do. Speaking of deletion, back to the tale. Benjamin Hornigold has taken the pardon. Sam Bellamy drowned at sea. Blackbeard is angry.
Rockstar.
He's nuts.
Yeah.
What?
Blackbeard's gone nuts.
He's
putting
decided that
fireworks
he's
in his beard.
Yeah.
Oh, Lulu, thanks. That means a lot. The Blackbeard decided to make his claim over there in Charleston, South Carolina, and Bath, North Carolina. He's just like, I'm not going to go to the Caribbean for a while. We're just going to be making base right here. While Charles Vane, we were out in Charles Vane. He was kicked off the ship. The funny story about Charles Vane, he was rescued from being technically marooned, and then he was recognized for being Charles Vane, and then he was captured.
Arrested?
Yep.
And then hung. So all that happened. But talk about a string of bad luck for an angry man.
You want to talk about one of the most infamously gnarly pirates in the world, Vane, and he gets taken down by a bimbo Calico Jack.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put him.
Can you imagine?
He didn't deserve Anne. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Ned Lowe and Charles Vane on the ship together?
There wouldn't be anybody left on the ship. Kill each other.
Yeah, that's why I think the ship would burn down. I think they would burn the ship down just because. That's the kind of people that are. They literally were the Joker. They just want to see the world burn.
Agents of chaos. Yep, 100%.
That's all it was. Yeah, so Calico Jack now is captain, goes back to the Bahamas. He falls in love with Anne Bonny only because I think, and all these pirates are quitting. Anne was kind of like, maybe Hornigold's the guy for me. Nah, he quit. Maybe Blackbeard, I have a little romance with Blackbeard. Yeah, he just left. He didn't care.
Calico Jack was all dressed nice. She was like,
You know?
Wait, he can buy me. Why don't we try him?
So he did. He tried to buy her, and her husband wasn't happy about it. So he kind of tattletaled on her. And do you think that obviously this was dramatized?
Hey, how does
but-
that work? Explain buy me. Why did they have to buy?
So back
Can you
then,
explain?
divorce wasn't really a thing. So they would like trade wives, sell wives, buy them.
Yeah.
It was like a used car lot.
I
really.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me, Captain. My wife, she cooks terrible potatoes. You want to trade?
Yeah, and they're looking at her like 4 shillings.
Yeah. You want to trade for your goat? You know, maybe.
your goat.
That's terrible. That's how it was, though. You're
It
right.
is, though.
Wicked is correct.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So Anne Bonny wants to run off with Calico Jack because he has the money now to buy her. Her husband gets mad, goes and runs and tells the governor, right? Was it governor of
He tells Woods.
Yeah, he tells Woods. And Woods wants to kind of make an example of her. And he wants to publicly flog her, and he tries to have Calico Jack do it. Now this
Flog
is where
her
the
for having an affair.
for having
Right.
an affair.
Even though
and
she
they
was
want-
sleeping with all the pirates in town.
I know she was. I thought about that. I was like, this. Okay, she was kind of busy, and he says her husband like she's making a. I don't know if I can say this word on YouTube.
Here.
Yes, out of me. So yeah, he goes tattletales on her.
You can definitely
And
say
they
that
want
on
to.
YouTube.
They want to flog her publicly, and they tried to make Calico Jack do it. Now, this was the drama. monetization, obviously. I mean, maybe it happened, but obviously they're gonna lean into it heavy for the documentary here. And she grabs a knife and holds it to, it was Woods, right? That's
It
what
was
she got.
Woods.
Yeah. And so, but basically this part, if she didn't do that, I think Calico Jack was gonna do it. Because
Oh, yeah.
he's soft. Like he's not tough. He doesn't stand up for her. We learn that later on is that he really doesn't. So yeah, they run off and she's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna do this because it's Anne Bonny. She's a tough chick.
And you got to remember, at this time, she's probably maybe just turned 18.
Oh yeah, she was
maybe
young.
17.
30 in pirate years though.
She should be a little older at this point. I think she's coming up on like 20 because it's been 2 or 3 years at this point. I think she's
She was
almost
2
20.
years when she arrived. She was 16 when she arrived in
Yeah.
Nassau.
Yeah.
Maybe almost getting ready to turn 17. So yeah, she could be. She could
Like
be
19 or 20.
20 right there.
somewhere around there. Yeah, a kid.
So she's got a knife to Woods Rogers' neck and it's like, no, I will not be flogged today, sir. And her and Calico Jack just run off and she finally lives the pirate life, gets to dress as a guy, but she does this thing where she keeps her boobies out. Not because she's trying to be sexy, but she's just kind of like, I'm a woman. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm not gonna go, the societal norms, not for me. I'm gonna do what I want. And that's when her pirate career started.
Think about the law back then, too. I want a divorce. This guy's gonna marry me, all right? And then your husband's like, that's not enough money, and you're like, yes, it is. Take the money, and we're divorced. Okay, I'll take the money.
I'll wake you
Hey,
anymore.
to the courts. It's legally binding, everyone. It's legally binding. You know what I mean? It's like that's what people did, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just freaking crazy how
It's
all
way
that works.
cheaper than hiring a lawyer and going through divorce.
Well, you could go to the law if your wife was talking about leaving you and have her flogged. They had what was the name of that thing? It was like a horse bit. They would put a cage on her head that had a barbed prosthesis that would go in her mouth.
I don't know about this.
And you would walk her around town and pull on it, and if you pulled on it, the metal prongs would stick into her mouth.
No, it wasn't Anne. It's like that's how they punish their wives.
Yeah.
For
if
not
she was a
being
little too
submissive.
opinionated.
I mean,
And
even
for
today,
Anne.
you can still sue for loss consortium, which is the inability to have relations with your wife.
A scold's bridle, is that what that's called? I think that's
I think so. Yeah, it was awful. And that's the thing too. Imagine being Anne Bonny's husband, James Bonny, who was too much of a coward to confront the pirates himself to say, "Leave my wife alone. Stop sleeping with her." He had to go like you said, tattletale. Like my wife won't come back home with me.
Yeah, he was a bitch.
She did not know how to pick them. Hornigold, she was not good. Like, I love Anne Bonny. Her story's great. And she was, for such a tough, just woman, she did not know how to pick men. Hornigold might have been the best choice that she made, but he was just, I don't think he was like in love with her, obviously. It was just,
Slim pickings out there.
She wanted adventure. Like she had a horrible life. She was always told by her family she was never good enough. She was the bastard child, the black sheep of the family, whatever you want to call it. They tried to hide her existence, all that stuff. So she was looked down upon, and she probably was always living like in this hiding world. And now she has a taste of freedom. This is what really drove a lot of people to piracy too. It's like, I got a taste of freedom where I can make my own rules. And she just wanted, like, even in the teaser trailer, they have her quoted saying, "If I wish I could pirate forever," like she just wanted that freedom. So now she's with Calico Jack. They're not married, but I guess they're together. And according to the law of England at the time, I guess that works out. There was another woman on board named Mary Reed, and Calico Jack's like, "I'm not taking the part, and we're gonna set sail." And
they don't talk about Mary in this.
they don't.
They just completely leave her out. She was a pretty
they
big
don't.
part of
She is
Anne's
mentioned
life.
in the book,
They leave a lot
Yeah.
of people out in this.
They could have done a whole nother episode. I think they should have.
They could
One
have.
more
They
episode
could have
and
made this
filled in.
9 and easily,
Mm-hmm.
gone into a little bit more.
I think Calico Jack thought he could just rob simple fishermen with a small crew and just have this big party on a ship every night. And it sounds like literally all they ever did. Because finally, when the powers that be found his ship, he was drunk with his men, and they showed up, and Anne's like, are you guys gonna fight? Or are you gonna why would you hide in the bottom? What do you think's gonna happen here? There's hiding in the bottom of the ship. To me, I never understood why people did that.
I know, like
it's
they're
like
not
it's a
gonna find it.
lose-lose situation. They're gonna sink the ship, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
They're gonna smoke you out, you're gonna die. Because you didn't give up, if you walk out, you're probably gonna die. So it's like I don't get the let's lock ourselves in the basement of a ship out to sea.
Well,
fear paralysis, dude. Fight or flight. Maybe they just didn't have it in them, and nature takes over, and so they book it and just hide in a corner. I don't know.
Well, and it's dark down there, so I think they're thinking, hey, maybe we'll be able to actually literally hide, and they'll just walk past us.
Maybe that happened one
pretty
time.
stupid.
It does seem really weird. So Anne Bonny, she fought to the end. They got captured, and Anne is like, I picked another dud pirate boyfriend.
Yep.
Because she gives her famous line, if you had fought like a man, you wouldn't have
died. Sorry. I love the quote. You wouldn't have to die like a dog.
Yeah, there it is. Better than a woman says it.
Yeah. But out of all of the pirates we're discussing right now, she actually had the better ending, and she may have even been alive to see America happen because she was pregnant, or at least she said she was pregnant. I think she probably really was. So they didn't kill her, and she just went off and lived her life. We don't really know.
According to the book, what they didn't say in the movie was that her father found out that she was in prison and that she was with child. So her father came all the way down to the Caribbean and bought her back and brought her back to live with her, and she settled down with another man and lived a very happy, long life. That's one of the tales.
Yeah.
Another
we don't
tale
know
is
for
that
sure.
she disappeared.
Press
And then
X
that's
out.
The first one seems a bit more plausible.
Unlikely.
What,
I
unlikely
think-
that her dad came?
No, that she found someone to actually settle down with. I don't think she settled down at all.
I mean,
Possibly.
you
After
lived
getting
a crazy life, and it's like this is the best you're gonna have. You're not going back to a pirate life. You already got caught.
Yeah.
If you go back, they're gonna kill you. There ain't no more pirates, sister. Billy down the street here owns a nice farm. At least you'll be taken care of. You already got a kid. Let's make this work. I think that possibly could have happened.
Yeah, to get wronged so much, she needed to
People
chill out a little
changing
bit.
grow kings. Come on.
Yeah, kings.
Do they though?
Don't you know?
Jake Stanley for 5 says, I think sometimes about these people, how these people would feel if they knew how legendary they would all become. I wonder if some of them would even care.
They probably would. Think about like Blackbeard, because he's arguably the most famous pirate that actually existed. He'd probably be like, cool. Pretty sweet as a rock star.
I think even as the internet goes, people read stuff about themselves and go, man, what? They got that story all wrong, man. What the heck? It's like, and then like story turns to myth turns to legend. And so
for 2,500 years.
Yeah. And here we are, right? Grand Potato for 5. Used car salesman slaps Anne's back. Tells Calico Jack, you can fit so many men inside.
Oh, okay.
Scared Straight Pirate Edition. Grand Potato. Yeah, that's it.
I've been laughing at that for like 10 minutes now.
That's it. Well, that's the end of Anne Bonny and that story. And then they get to Blackbeard. And so Blackbeard's got Charleston, the town of Charleston at bay. This is a one pirate that's got the whole city surrendered He's just got a ship out there. And what does he want? Medicine and a doctor.
Yep.
So he gets a doctor over on board. He gets medicine and has the doctor look at his crew and get the medicine. And we find out that he has syphilis. Probably really bad.
Yeah, not great.
Well, they mentioned like he's looking for the mercury, right? Like right after this part, the doctor doesn't have it. Think of how bad, really, the syphilis must have, how painful it must have been if he would rather have mercury injected through his thingy.
Well, fast forward to, or sorry, rewind to episode 5.
Well, that's what happens.
And there's the story about when he captured, he stops that ship and basically gets on and says, "Here's the deal: we need a doctor. If one of you comes out and just comes help us, everything will be fine. If you don't, if you lie about who you are, we will kill all of you."
Yep.
Yep.
I'm
And
just
then he
like,
asks him, and what's your name? He goes, Dr.
Yeah.
Jonathan. Lightly, like, yeah, good choice.
man, imagine the modern medicine back there, how horrible it is. Here's some mercury that you're not supposed to touch. Let's inject it in your body.
Yeah, well, I mean, crap, they had no idea. You know what I mean? I still remember my dad
Clearly.
telling me stories about them like breaking thermometers open and playing with it, which explains a lot about them. But
Yeah.
yeah, just the thought of like
That's
injecting
awesome.
liquid metal, especially through that port of entry, is
Yeah, and we
I'm
get
not really
such
sure I'd call it a port of entry.
a vivid.
That's the one part of the
shot
show.
that.
If you plan on watching it, they show Blackbeard's wee-wee and they inject
Yeah.
his wee-wee hole with mercury. I just gonna say it so you know, in case you're
Just be ready
wondering what
for
we're
it.
talking about, in case you're wondering. But people that had syphilis, that's how they treated it. What
Yeah.
a horrible.
I'm just saying, think of how
Yeah.
painful it must have been if you're like, that's the route I'm going to take to try and relieve some pain. Oof.
Mm-hmm.
But did it work or did it just
Probably not. I mean,
eat it
they
up
kept
even
doing it.
like
well, it killed everything, right? But you wind
Yeah.
up with mercury poisoning on top of syphilis. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not ideal.
No.
What where would they even get that idea from? Did someone get like a bad rash and they just sprinkled mercury on it to eat it off?
I don't even
Or,
know
like,
how they got
prob-
freaking mercury in the first place.
Yeah, that's
Probably
the other
probably
thing.
the same place they got the idea of humors and things like that.
Kind of
The
crazy.
freaking Greeks.
I mean, yeah. So like that's like when we watch them old Civil War videos. It's like, oh, you got a scratch in your arm? We're cutting it off.
Give him a woodpecker to the head.
It's like, how you feeling today? My toenail is it appears to be bruised. All right, bring the hammer
Yeah,
and
get
the
some
saw.
leeches.
We're cutting off that leg. It's
Yeah.
like, no, what are you doing? Don't cut
You
my
said
leg
it
off. I
doesn't
feel
work.
fine. No. It's gonna be infected. Cut it off. It's like no matter what you had, they just cut it off. They're like, that's how you deal with it.
Yeah.
My ear hurts. Cut that sucker right off, man. You don't need it. You got another one. So
So I'm not seeing a real answer. I just see here that pirates learned about mercury through the medical practices of their time, which were often based on the knowledge of treatments used by surgeons and apothecaries. And yeah, it was a common treatment for syphilis and all that. So there's nothing. I'm sure I could deep dive and maybe learn a bit more into it, but that's all I got right now.
Like
That
who tried that the first time?
That's
They're
what I
like,
mean, so
well,
I was-
it's not
that's what I was
curing
trying
me.
to
What do we
find.
do? Like, stick it down his pee-hole.
yeah, it's like I can't deal with the pain anymore. I'll try anything. But they actually
Yeah.
had instruments for that.
Oh,
It
handcrafted.
wasn't like, hey, let's try this out.
Yeah.
It's like we
And at the
have an
Pirate Museum.
instrument specifically for that that the doctors have
Yep. On
made.
hand.
And it's like,
It was
and when you go
probably
visit, when you go to the museum, Blackbeard's museum
Mhm.
in South Carolina, where they're pulling up the Queen Anne's Revenge, they have that there.
Yeah. The
They
pea
had
What
it
he
poker.
used.
on his ship.
Yep.
Mm.
What'd you call it next week?
Pea poker.
It probably was used on like a surface wound or something, like apothecaries mixing stuff, right? And it healed it. So it's like, oh, it has healing properties now for everything. But then you inject it into your
Yeah.
bloodstream and mercury poisoning.
Well, according to the video, it was the syphilis and that type of medical research that he was doing probably drove Blackbeard crazy.
Well, syphilis eats away at the soft tissues.
Yeah, that too.
So he went crazy. They could have done there could easily be a 9 on if they just made it specific history, or even on this book, there could have been a 9 episode just on Blackbeard alone on how like he betrayed Stede Bonnet and all that stuff, and just all that stuff, and how he sank the Queen Anne's Revenge to get away, and like how he got rid of his crew, a lot of his crew, so he could split the pirate treasure with less men. In this, they did show a specific moment where he brought all the black pirates, that the freed slave pirates that he had freed, to the town just to enslave them again, just to make money.
Oh yeah,
he was my favorite all the way up to that point.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I think they knew that a lot of people are like, oh, everybody wants to be Blackbeard. He was a cool guy. It's like he was just as bad, as everyone else.
Yeah,
he
Except
was a
Sam Bellamy.
horrible person. He wasn't a good.
Bad.
What's that?
I said except Sam Bellamy, he wasn't bad. I mean, he stole stuff, but in comparison,
That's what I'm saying. Like Blackbeard was just as horrible as a. God bless you, Captain.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Just as horrible as like the next time. So yeah, he was a pirate. Why would people be surprised? Exactly. And so this shows that he had his final battle there on the Ocracoke Island, which I got to visit, by the way. It's freaking awesome. And Blackbeard met his end. And what I found cool about that scene was Blackbeard died, but his first mate, Black Caesar, was trying to blow up the boat at the right at the end, like trying to light the explosives, and he also died.
Yeah.
And that was it. They cut off his head, and that was the end. A lot of people say that was the end of the Golden Age with the death of Blackbeard. Blackbeard held on. We've already did a whole live stream on Blackbeard. We could go on and on and on about the things that he did in North Carolina and South Carolina and all those things, and how he went out and made deals with the governors and all that stuff. But that was pretty much, you think that might have been like one of the bitter ends?
Yeah.
Now, before he died, before all these people died, Charles Vane met with everybody in Bath, North Carolina, and they had one last big pirate party that lasted a week. And Charles Vane was like, Blackbeard, join our crew, man. Let's just have one last run. And Blackbeard was kind of like, all right, I'll think about it. I'll meet you down there. And Blackbeard never went back to the Caribbean. He stayed in the Carolinas where he died. Where in all those pictures make him look like he's 55, 65 years old, but he was barely 30. So, and then
and Blackbeard dies from reportedly 20 sword cuts and what was it, 4-5 gunshot wounds?
Yeah, he was holding strong.
It's just that last shot, huh?
Steve Brown says, "Let's see those tattoos. Join our Vindicta Discord." There might be a few more members pretty soon. That's for sure. I think I'm all caught up on that end, and that's basically the end of episode 5.
No,
Actually, I kind of did both in one, right?
That was kind of.
I think I kind of jumped ahead, didn't I?
We kind of skipped over the politicking up in, or I guess down in Nassau. But other than that, yeah, I mean that's pretty much the.
I mean, did we go over Woodes Rogers barricading Nassau?
Right, so that's kind of what we skipped over is Nassau and the end of that. But yeah, I mean, finishing off
what a
with
freaking way to get rid of a barricade! Holy cow, man! So Woodes Rogers pulls up to Nassau now, completely done and tired of all pirates and their BS, and is just like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stick you in here. We're gonna make sure you can't leave, and you guys are gonna surrender. So Charles Vane can't write. Basically, asked his buddy to write a letter to send to Woodes Rogers and say, like, okay, I'll take the pardon. I'll take the pardon. You got me. Woodes Rogers takes one look at it and basically lights the thing on fire and says, like, if he can't read it, I don't know what to tell you. And sends it back to Charles Vane. And Charles Vane, I think, feeling very cornered at that point, essentially decides he's going to sacrifice one of his ships. And so he loads it with everything explosive he can possibly find, paints the sails with tar, does all this different stuff, sends it out into the bay, loads the cannon with double shot, and lights it on fire and sends it right at Woodes Rogers and his blockade. And of course, Woodes Rogers and his blockade are like, "Oh crap, get out!" Because I mean, dude, you're on a floating tinderbox. Like, you got to get away from that thing. So they cut their anchor lines and they split. And Vane gets away on one of his sloops and just bombs it straight for North Carolina to go find Blackbeard.
Yeah, that's what we missed.
Yeah.
So I like I said earlier, I was working while I was watching this. So there's a lot of actual visual that I missed. Did we get to see Benjamin Hornigold actually ram that ship up on the ground and create the battlements? No. Man, the one thing I wanted to see.
Yeah, that would have been really, really cool to have in there. But no.
Too.
Yeah, didn't happen.
They never. They just said Hornigold just
poof
disappeared, man.
Yeah, they kind of gave him a really lackluster kind of deal. He bailed. The whole thing was falling apart so quick. That's the crazy part, is we talk about all these crazy events and all this different stuff that happens, and it's like 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? And then in the course of a year, everything goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
And then you're left with this remnant, basically the holdouts of these horrible pirates. And I mean horrible in a couple different ways. 1, extremely violent ones. 2, really bad ones. Like, it's basically, you see the death of these incredible men that forged this republic, that really held up this armada and had this whole grand idea. And then when it dies and it falls apart, all that's left are these kind of crappy pirates that aren't really good pirates. They're just terrible people
that we still talk about today.
Yeah.
How crazy is that, Yeah.
Well, and that's
oh, go ahead, Kings.
That's the I don't know how you describe it, the legend of the pirate. Everyone, I've said this before, and X-Ray and I have kind of had this argument in the past. But every group of people have their special person of history. The Japanese have the samurai. In my opinion, the Americans have the cowboy. But everyone has pirates.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things that, everyone at least spends one day going, gosh darn it, why do I have to do what society tells me to do?
Yeah.
And here we have 5 to 10 years of people deciding, I'm not doing it. Screw it. Let's just go get my boys and sail the open seas.
It's the universal idea of complete freedom as a human, and I think we all kind of crave it. So easy to romanticize.
I think so. Before we close, if you
die,
what's your favorite part? Whatever, stuff like that. Did everything just blink for me? That was weird.
Yeah,
it blinked for me.
Sorry, that's a StreamYard issue, not a J issue. But yeah, so I'm gonna read this. Hell, Yellow Flash, thank you for showing up, brother. Appreciate you. C&D Design says, I used to fish with my pops on Ocracoke when I was a kid. I gotta go back. Every time I do these trips, I need like 2 extra days. I don't know why, because I miss out. Like, I just got back from Washington, D.C. I needed to stay 2 extra days. I loved it. When I went to Ocracoke Island, it was like, I felt like Rush. You take a ferry boat.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. Like, you take a ferry boat. I got on the earliest ferry boat, And they're like, "What day you coming back?" I'm like, "I'm taking the 3 o'clock back." They're like, "What? Nobody does that." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna do it." They're like, "You're not gonna be able to see everything."
Yeah.
So it was cool. And you did the Blackbeard walk, and you walked where he died and everything. Anyway, it was worth it. But he goes, "I'm joining the tattoo crew. C&D Design." No doubt.
There you go.
Hail the Rebellion and Vindicta. Best crew on YouTube. If you got a Discord, C&D, let me know. We're going to put you in the special secret
Tattoo crew
Discord.
chat.
That's it. Grand Potato for 5. Pirates today running around with speedboats and AKs.
Yeah, it's a far cry from what it used to be.
Different.
And now you can pay ships to ride on them and shoot at them.
Yeah,
all my
just wild.
Tattoo crew in the chat. Also many of y'all in here. I'll keep you posted. All right, so let's start with the ladies first. What did you think about the series, The Lost Pirate Kingdom on Netflix?
I thought it was fun. I mean, clearly a lot of moments were dramatized, but that's what you do when you're making a docudrama. But there was a lot of facts in there. I liked that they went from showing it like scenes to us to the actual historians talking about what happened, and it was like narrating it. I loved the Sam Bellamy and Anne Bonny stuff. I wish we could have gotten a bit more from both of them. Like definitely Anne, because I mean they completely cut out Mary Read, who was a huge part in her story. I mean they probably covered Sam Bellamy pretty well, but it's just more. I would always love more Sam Bellamy. His story is very fascinating, very sad. So overall, I enjoyed the series a lot. I said last time that anybody that might be interested in learning a bit of pirate history, but you don't have time to read the books or really do deep dives, this is a nice series to watch to kind of sum up the highlights of the golden age of piracy for you. And that's it.
We'll see your review on Criticless
Yeah.
very soon.
Yeah.
Captain. No, we will be playing some Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
Shortly. So I've said this twice now. I thought the first 3 episodes were better than the second 3. There's a lot of people they leave out in this. It's really the Benjamin Hornigold and Sam Bellamy show, and you got Ned Lowe, you've got Stead Bonnet, who they do have a little bit in there, but it's not nearly as much as, in my opinion, he deserved. And it's definitely not like a nice primer. Like if you want to, kind of have a little bit of fun and learn a little bit, it's good. But I think there might be better things on the horizon, I would hope.
Way to sell it there, Chief.
Always negative. That's it.
Friggin' dingy.
Nice job.
I'm 30 now. What do you expect? I'm
Good
30
job,
now. What do you
DD.
expect?
He's grumpy.
Yeah.
Commodore.
I love it, man. I absolutely love this. I remember the first time, I think this was very, very early on, like in some of our discussions about this Pirate Channel and everything, that you were like, dude, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I watched the whole thing, and I fell in love with it. I've watched it twice now, again, since then. And it's great. It's a docudrama. I think something we don't even talk about when it comes to this is the historians that they put in the docudrama itself. You can tell just how passionate they are about this, and I would kill just to take all of them out to dinner and talk to them for a while about everything that happened. And you can tell that they want to say more. I think this could have easily been a 12-part series.
Yes.
I wish it was, because these characters are so much larger than life. Packing it into 6 hours really doesn't do it justice. And there's so much more that develops with their relationships. There's so much more. That's the only negative that I would give it, is I would have given it 6 more hours in the oven, and I think it would have been perfect. But I love it. I thought it was well shot. I love their usage of like old pirate movies sometimes when they say, oh, they attacked. And there's a film from the 1970s when they were live firing cannons, and they're using that footage to show it. I just think it's great. kudos to the actors, especially Blackbeard. I thought he was absolutely incredible. It was great, and Anne Bonny too. I thought Anne Bonny was freaking perfect. She was awesome. So it's great. I would highly recommend going to watch it. I don't know anybody who doesn't have a Netflix these days, so like it's free. Just go. I mean, it's not free, but go watch it.
What I will say is, as I'm not disappointed, but as like lukewarm as I was to it, seeing the ships and the action and people walking around as pirates was really good. And I echo what you said, X-Wing, that the actors, with the exception of a couple of instances, did a very good job.
The old British guy who complains about slaving all the time kind of drove me nuts. He spits everywhere. Like, oh my
and
God.
His wig was all jacked up on his head.
So he was probably the most realistic, to be honest. He was super dramatic and spitting everywhere with a bad wig. He was probably fairly realistic, but yeah.
The dude that did Hornigold, I think he was the best in the entire thing.
And don't discount Vane either. That guy plays the psycho perfectly, man.
Yeah, well, it's all in the eyes.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the best Hornigolds because he's the one that's old and everything, right? When they portray him, he's like super old. Well, this one seemed more realistic of what his age actually, how he would have looked.
There's a couple of the projects like I think it was Black Flag where he's like 20 in it, but then in Black Sails I think he's like 60. So this, or at least looks 60. This one I think did a very good job. Throwing a little bit of salt in there and making him just look a little seasoned almost.
Yeah, and they weren't like outlandish. That's the other thing I like about it too. Everything's very grounded, which is something I respect a lot for sure. The animations were god awful, but it's Netflix.
Yeah,
it's what it is. Are you guys streaming the game?
Yeah,
I have it set for 6:35, so 20-ish minutes.
All right, we'll see you in 20 minutes. Thank you guys for making another amazing Patches and Rum History of Pirates podcast. Again, I'm going to leave these two up in a special, let's see. Hold on. Jake wasn't kidding. Sail North has great Celtic pirate music. Bones is especially good. Mind if I plug the channel? Not at all, good sir. Not at all. You may put the link in the chat. We love that stuff around here. So we're all going to be playing Sea of Thieves for a little bit on our respective channels in about 20 minutes. Thank you for making another awesome, amazing, wonderful pirate podcast. We'll see you in a few weeks.
Pay attention to the pirate. If you haven't already followed, please, on Twitter, follow History of Pirates on Twitter. I think the next one that we do, we want to let everybody know ahead of time so you have ample time to watch it, and we can all talk about it and chat and with us here. I have a huge recommendation, but I don't want to say it because when Jay's like, "Nah, fam, we won't do it," but just in case,
we'll tweet it out, right?
Yeah, pay attention. It'll be on the Twitter.
It'll be on the Twitter.
Thank you for being a first mate and listening to the Patches and Rum podcast. Now get back to your station or I'll send you to Davy Jones' locker.